First play we're going to look at, 2nd and 2, one of the Patriots' first offensive plays. What's going on, everyone? Taylor Kyles here for CLNS Media, reporting from the 6th day of Patriots Training Camp, where the Patriots once again wore pads, and although they mostly focused on the red zone, we also got a glimpse of what the offense can do in the open field when the competition starts to ramp up. Here are my top 3 takeaways from the 6th training camp practice. Number 1, Drake Maye continuing to stack positive days, specifically during the red zone work. He is efficient, he is accurate, and very rarely are you seeing receivers either not getting catchable passes or having to make difficult adjustments. Now, some of the top targets for Drake Maye today, A.J. Brown, just like we saw yesterday, those two have been nearly automatic, especially when running some of the shorter patterns. Demario Douglas was also very active today. We even saw a little bit of Eli Raritan and Hunter Henry getting involved, with Hunter Henry making a great play on one of Drake's few iffy throws of the day, where Hunter Henry actually bobbled the ball to himself and caught it before he went out of bounds. And going back to A.J. Brown, it was very interesting that Drake Maye spoke about the ways that he and A.J. Brown are continuing to try to build rapport. Here's what he had to say.
I think just giving more chances to him. I think, you see, with the ball in his hands, what he can do. So just finding more chances, intermediate, short, deep, just not shying away from him. I'm not going to shy away from him. That's how I play. I'm going to keep going at it, and it could be the 5th play in a row. I'm going to give him the rock. So I think just, finding a way to, balance that with a player like him. And also, you got Romeo and Pop and Hunter, and you got guys, Ramondre, Travion, you got guys that, can stress the defense. So knowing, the right play to make, first off, but also, finding some time in training camp to give him some chances that, maybe in a game I may be like, hey, I may pass on that. I think just trying to, get a feel for what he's seeing, what I'm seeing, what he's kind of feeling out there when he's running routes in coverage. We got, some great competition. Him and Gonzo are going back and forth and going at it. So it's great for us to talk and, pull up some old things that he's run and how he liked to run them and what he liked to do in the routes and kind of different looks. So it's just trying to, feel the, connectivity building. I think that's the biggest thing with a player like him and a lot of players that we have. It's my job to try to give them the ball when they want and when they when I feel like they're open, and that's what he's just trying to build a relationship with me and him. And I think you're just seeing it get better every day, and I think that's the best thing about training camp is what you use it for. And I'm blessed to play with a player like him and looking forward to give him the rock and see him do his thing.
Now for my second observation of the day. Unfortunately for the offensive line, it was not as impressive a day in pass protection, specifically due to the Patriots defense ramping up the blitz in this second padded practice. There were just a few too many times that you would see unblocked rushers and Drake Maye having to get the ball out quickly. Now, to Drake Maye's credit, early on in practice when they were doing full field work, we actually saw him diagnose that blitz, get the ball out quickly to A.J. Brown, and A.J. Brown did a great job beating Christian Gonzalez on a double move to get open for what would have been a field-flipping touchdown. But then later in practice, we also saw a rep where the pressure got to Drake Maye so quickly, he had to throw the ball away, and although it looked like Christian Gonzalez might have picked it off in the corner of the end zone, the play was blown dead, so it did not count. But that pressure at Drake Maye's feet just ramped up a bit more than you're comfortable with. Nothing too crazy, and of course, today Caleb Lomu actually stepped in on what looked like a rest day for Morgan Moses. But on that left side with Will Campbell and Elijah Vera Tucker, seems like they may be continuing to have to build some chemistry, which is nothing crazy. Again, this was one of the first blitz-heavy practices that we saw. Elijah Vera Tucker still getting back out there after missing last season, so not necessarily alarm bells, but something for the offensive line to work on. And one truly negative note, this was the 2nd day in a row where there was tough sledding for the Patriots' top running backs. The only real hole that I personally saw was Ramondre Stevenson when the Red Sea parted on either an inside zone or draw run. Other than that, the defensive line was absolutely stout. And now for my third observation. I can't get out of here without talking about a tight end. And today, it's Eli Raritan. Still one of the favorite targets of these quarterbacks, specifically Tommy DeVito, but he also has gotten some love from Drake Maye during this summer. I asked Tommy DeVito after practice about Eli Raritan, and Tommy DeVito mentioned he's got size, the guy can move, but he's also an intelligent player. We've seen that a couple of times, and one example specifically where Tommy DeVito seemed to target Eli Raritan on a corner route with multiple zone defenders in the area, and it looked like Eli Raritan made a heads-up play to settle into that space to make an easier throw for his quarterback. Drake Maye also gave Eli Raritan love, specifically for the fact that even when he's tired, he does not tap out because he wants to be in there and he wants to continue to learn. Eli Raritan is going to have a big role in this offense. There's even some packages and run looks we might see him on the field over Hunter Henry. So the fact that he is continuing to stand out and look like he just fits right in with the starting offense. Also, continuing to see Tanner Arkin get some opportunities with the top offensive line. Unfortunately, no Julian Hill in that tight end room, but it seems like there might be a bit of a youth revolution in the tight end room moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to Patriots Press Pass. We'll see you next time.
As you guys know, this episode and every episode of Patriots Daily is powered by our friends over at PrizePicks. NBA, WNBA going on, baseball as well, but football season is just around the corner. We'll have preseason lineups on the PrizePicks app leading into the regular season of football. So make sure you check out our friends over at PrizePicks. If you're interested, all you got to do is download the app today and use code CLNS, and you get $150 instantly in lineups after you win your first $5 lineup. Again, use code CLNS. You get $150 in lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, America's #1 sports picks app.